Hello all you freedom-loving people. Welcome to another episode of Front Page. I'm your host, Scott Cameron Goulet. It was a sad weekend in Wisconsin. A repeat felon who had just been released on bail caused a tragic loss of life and injury to more than 40 people. And in California, there was a shocking mass theft. Tolerance and weakness for crime is rapidly turning Democrat places into unlivable areas. The House passed the huge $1.75 trillion social spending bill, but who is the beneficiary of the bill? The devil is hiding in the details. The situation may seem dim, but in the hearts of Americans who believe in traditional values, there is still hope for the future. Justice will eventually return. Okay, let's get into it. A horrific tragedy happened in Waukesha, Wisconsin on Sunday. An SUV plowed through crowds of people attending a Christmas parade. The city announced that 5 people had been killed and over 40 people were injured. At least 12 victims are children. Since some people went to the hospital themselves, the actual numbers may be higher. Law enforcement officials confirmed that a person of interest has been taken into custody. New York Post reporter Carol Markowitz confirmed that the suspect is Darrell E. Brooks, a male in his late 30s. Brooks has an extremely long criminal history, including 2 open cases. The Milwaukee court system didn't keep him in jail due to court congestion, releasing him on $500 bail, even though he was facing serious weapons charges. Afterwards, he was hit with a string of new felony charges and was released again, this time on $1,000 bail on November 19th, 3 days before the parade tragedy. A mass looting took place on Saturday evening at the Nordstrom store in Walnut Creek, California. The looters traveled in a large convoy of vehicles, blocked roads, and then stole whatever they could. Law enforcement told the media that there were approximately 80 individuals who ran into the store and began looting and smashing shelves. Police began receiving calls about the looting at around 9 p.m. They stopped one vehicle and arrested both suspects inside. I want to read you a couple of comments that I came across on Fox News. Being soft on crime has consequences. Defunding and demoralizing law enforcement has consequences. Failure to prosecute criminals has consequences. Convincing yourself that law enforcement is bad and all criminals are victims has consequences. Ignoring settled laws has consequences. Here's another one. Nordstrom is very proactive in promoting a woke environment. Therefore, this store in San Francisco experienced a mostly peaceful protest. Nordstrom should be proud that its diversity program and training worked well. On November 19th, the House passed Biden's $1.75 trillion social spending bill by a vote of 220 to 213, sending it to the Senate. Maine Representative Jared Golden was the only Democrat to vote against the bill. Republicans have been opposed to the legislation since its inception and voted against the bill unanimously. The $1.75 trillion bill contains a significant amount of Democratic-backed investment. More than $550 billion is spent on green energy and climate-related initiatives alone, accounting for nearly 1/3 of the total cost. The bill provides $214 billion for 4 weeks of paid leave for nearly all workers, including those who have earned as little as $2,000 in the past 2 years. It also includes 4 years of health insurance subsidies for low-income families in states that have not yet expanded their Medicaid programs. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer hopes that the Senate will pass the bill before Christmas, but the bill is expected to face a bigger challenge in the Senate. The key will depend on the position of 48 Democrats and 2 independent lawmakers. Senator Joe Manchin, a moderate Democrat, expressed reservations about some parts of the bill. If the bill is amended, the House will need to vote on the bill again. The House was scheduled to vote on the Build Back Better bill on Thursday, but the vote was delayed until early Friday after House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy gave a marathon speech listing his discontent with the bill. House members were originally given 60 seconds to present their views on the bill. There's no filibuster rule in the House, but as long as one member continues to speak, the vote will be on hold. Well, McCarthy did not stop. He spoke for 8 hours and 32 minutes straight. That broke the previous record of 8 hours and 7 minutes set by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi in 2018. Finally, the Democrats adjourned the meeting until 8 a.m. Friday, but the Republicans didn't leave. They sat behind McCarthy for the entire speech. McCarthy posted a message on Twitter just before 1 a.m. Democrats are headed to bed for the night, But I am not talking to them, I'm talking directly to the American people. McCarthy claimed the bill raises taxes on middle-class Americans while providing extravagant spending on special interests favored by Democrats. Highly taxed blue states will also receive effective tax cuts for the wealthy. He also noted that the bill does not serve border security or expand U.S. energy production. Democrats also rejected Republican amendments, even one that prohibits money falling into the hands of the CCP. Democrats, on the other hand, have repeatedly claimed that the bill would result in zero increases in deficit and would be fully paid for. Of course, every expense listed would be paid for by hardworking American taxpayers. Analysis by the Joint Committee on Taxation, the JCT, which is the fiscal regulator, shows that the tax hikes needed in order to pay for the huge spending bill will affect middle and lower class households, but higher income families will benefit instead. Beginning in 2023, taxes will increase by 2.9% for individuals earning between $75,000 and $100,000 per year. Taxpayers earning between $100,000 and $200,000 would see a 7.4% increase, and by the year 2031, the increase would be 11.3%. This bill, however, provides generous tax breaks for the super rich. The child tax credit will be increased from $2,000 to $3,000 per child, with $3,600 for children under the age of 6. The state and local tax deduction, also known as the SALT cap, will be increased from $10,000 to $80,000. The measure is essentially a write-off for high earners. The Nonprofit Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, the CRFB, points out that a family of 4 living in Washington, D.C. with a household income of $1 million would receive a tax break of $25,900 when combined with SALT, while the tax break for a family with an income of $50,000 to $100,000 is only $2,600. According to the JTC, beginning in 2023, individuals earning between $200,000 and $500,000 per year will receive a 12.7% tax cut due to SALT. People earning between $500,000 and $1 million will see a 35.5% tax reduction. President Trump capped the SALT deduction at $10,000, upsetting the Democrats. They believed it was intended to punish high-income and Democratic states such as New York, New Jersey, and California. Even Republican members from those states support repealing Trump's cap. The American Healthcare Association and the National Center for Assisted Living, the nation's largest nursing home association, have sounded the alarm about the massive social spending package, calling its impact devastating. It will potentially force thousands of long-term care facilities to limit admission or shut down. The association said the industry has a chronic labor shortage, and the measures in the Build Back Better plan would add to its burden. One provision of the bill, for example, requires registered nurses to be on duty 24 hours a day, something officials say they certainly want, but it would require significant assistance to accomplish. Mark Parkinson, the president and CEO of the Care Association, said the proposals not only ignore the industry's needs for more help, but makes the situation much worse. Nursing homes are currently required to have at least one registered nurse on duty for 8 hours a day, but tripling that requirement would mean hiring 21,000 more registered nurses. Costing a great deal more money is one problem, but most crucially, it would be impossible to recruit new staff. Parkinson said they have lost 221,000 employees since the pandemic began. Nursing home providers are doing all they can to attract and retain new staff, but no one is applying for the jobs. Parkinson said, "Unfortunately, if these provisions actually become law, we believe that thousands, if not most, of the skilled nursing facilities would close." I know that's a dramatic statement, but we believe it is true. I want to take a moment to thank you all for your support of Front Page. Every like, comment, and share helps more people to see the truth. Please consider supporting us by donating to our donor box, or please join us on our membership site where we have exclusive segments and sensitive content that you cannot see on YouTube. Your support here really does help us to keep continuing to tell people the truth. President Trump's new book, Our Journey Together, which chronicles his time in office, will officially hit the shelves on December 7th. The book sold over $1 million worth of sales on the first day on November 19th. Sergio Gore, president of Winning Team Publishing, said the results were extraordinary, especially since big New York publishers tried to silence Trump. Winning Team was founded by Trump's eldest son, Donald Trump Jr., and Sergio Gore. The New York publishing industry tried to ban Trump from publishing the book in order to shut him up, so the book will not be sold through New York publishers. Our Journey Together is a collection of more than 300 photos of President Trump during his time in the White House, accompanied by handwritten comments on each picture. Gore expressed his pride in the launch of the book. He said, "This book captures every moment from President Trump's historic journey, America's journey, a journey which is far from over." In a great number of American hearts, it seems that 2020 never ended. In many places, Trump 2020 signs still dot roadsides, Trump flags still flutter, and Trump hats are still in style. Furthermore, many small stores around the country continue to sell Trump merchandise, and the demand is strong. Across America, at least 20,000 small shops buy and sell Trump apparel. People still love Trump, said Alicia Doherty, the owner of J. Trump store in Georgia. A normal week at her store nets 200 to 400 customers. For many people, the store feels like a safe place to talk politics, to share news, and to spend time together, despite the certainty with which they pronounce the nationwide collapse of America's electoral system. Trump store customers seem surprisingly relaxed and believe the turnout in favor of Trump and pro-Trump Republicans will be massive in the next two elections. To many people, Trump is more than a presidential candidate. They say he is a moral leader who has a quality that few Americans and few politicians have. He speaks his mind. Atlanta customer Norm Hatke said he relates to people and he loves this country. Another customer, Kurt Alwyn, said he stands for what he says. He's a man of faith. He's got real character. He's done the most for our country in a long time. But some Trump stores are facing discrimination from Google because of its politics. Google removed the J. Trump store's online business profile from its website. Co-owner John Locke said moments after he entered a code from Google to register as a business, he received an email claiming the store has been flagged for suspicious activity. The store boasts visitors from across America. People come from Florida, Maine, California, and everywhere in between. Doherty said, every time someone is in from out of town, they come in and get stuff for their family to take home. The definition of fully vaccinated could be changed. White House pandemic advisor Anthony Fauci said on Sunday that COVID-19 boosters might be included if the data supports it. Fauci told ABC's This Week that they'll be following people who have been boosted and we'll see what the durability of booster protection is. On November 19th, a CDC vaccine advisory panel recommended in a unanimous vote that all U.S. adults can get booster doses for both Moderna and Pfizer vaccines. So it's quite clear what they are planning. Europe is currently the hotspot of the global COVID-19 outbreak and the only region where the death toll has risen. The surge in infections has caused many governments to begin imposing lockdowns again. This weekend, people across Europe, including Austria, Italy, and the Netherlands, organized protest rallies. Tens of thousands of people took to the streets to challenge the new COVID-19 restrictions, which sparked violent clashes. In the Netherlands, a riot broke out in The Hague on Saturday night. Protesters threw fireworks and set bicycles ablaze. Police used horses, dogs, and batons to disperse the crowd. Dutch officials said at least 5 police officers were injured in the riots. Although more than 70% of the country is fully vaccinated, the government began a 3-week partial lockdown after a record spike in cases last weekend. Among other things, bars and restaurants must close by 8 p.m., and crowds are prohibited from gathering at sporting events. In Rome, 3,000 people protested the Green Pass, which is required in local workplaces, restaurants, cinemas, theaters, stadiums, and gyms. The protests in Austria on Saturday were much larger, with over 35,000 people attending. Violent clashes between the protesting crowd and police ensued. Demonstrators threw bottles and beer cans at police and threw fireworks, while police used pepper spray to disperse the crowd. Authorities said they detained several protesters, but did not provide a specific number. The government previously announced a new nationwide lockdown and vaccine order to begin in February of next year. The lockdown is supposed to last 10 days, but could be increased to 20 days. The small French island of Guadeloupe broke out in protest in response to the government's requirement for health passes to enter public places such as restaurants. Protesters blocked roads and set fire to cars. French officials say police have detained at least 38 people. They sent about 250 more police to the island and began an immediate curfew of 6 p.m. to 5 a.m. The Belgian capital of Brussels also saw mass protests Sunday. Police estimated that at least 35,000 people attended, most of whom went home after the rally, but a few hundred stayed and clashed with police. Protesters threw objects at police, smashed cars, and set fire to trash cans, while police responded with tear gas and high-pressure water cannons. Okay, this is our show for today. Thank you for tuning in. Again, if you like what you heard, please don't forget to like and subscribe this video and share it with your friends and family, because everybody deserves to know the truth. Again, thank you for watching Front Page, and we will see you next time.